Hey everyone, I welcome you all to this video. And today in this video, we will be discussing about data types in SQL Server. And this is an important topic because let's say whenever we are creating the tables, we should be actually using those data types for any given column, which not only fulfills our requirement, but at the same time, it requires minimum possible storage space, right? So when we are working with a small volume of data, or when we are practicing all these questions and all that stuff, so in that case, it's fine. Like when the volume of the data is not that high. But when you'll be working in real time, so you will see that when the volume of the data increases, then these data types can play a crucial role, because in that case, the storage required, depending upon the data types of the columns, will vary, right? So it can, if we will be using if we will be choosing the data types wisely, then it can help us save a lot of storage space. So that's why we should keep that in mind. So let's begin with the discussion. So we have SQL data types. And let's say the very first place, we want to create those columns that will be consisting of string data. So in order to store string data, we can choose from various data types, such as we can choose from char, varchar, nchar, and nvarchar. So let's consider an example to understand this. So let's say we have to create a column by the name gender, and it can consist only of two values, let's say either M or F. So M representing male and F representing female. So let's say we have to create a gender column, and this can be consisting of a value which is having the character length equal to 1, and it will be a fixed character length, and it can either be M or F. So for such a situation, we can go for char 1. So 1 written after char data type represents the character length, maximum character length. Now, let's say there's a requirement where you have to create a column in which you have to store the student names. So obviously the names can be having variable length. So for those purposes, we can go for varchar. And then you have to provide a maximum character length as well. So since the names will generally not exceed the length of maybe around 250, 256, so we can take any length, maybe 256, right? Depending upon the requirement. Then let's say the way we have used char, similarly for this requirement, which is written in line 8. So for the gender column, we said that we can use char. We can use nchar as well, but nchar, actually, it does an additional thing that it will support the Unicode characters as well. So it supports Unicode characters. Similarly, if we will talk about nvarchar, so it is also same like that of variable character, but it supports Unicode characters. So it also supports Unicode characters. So depending upon the requirement, we can choose from different data types. Now let's say there's a column in which you have to store numerical values. So if there's a column in which you want to store numerical values or number type values, so in that case, we can choose from various data types, such as int, big int, then tiny int, decimal, right? And when we are using decimal, so we have to specify a precision and scale as well. We will discuss about precision and scale in a while. So these are some of the data types that we can choose from. Maybe we have small int as well. So small int. So depending upon the requirement, we can choose from different data types. So let's say there's a requirement that is given to you, and you are said that you have to create a column in which the age of the students have to be stored. So age of the students. So if we will talk about tiny int, so tiny int is having a range from 0 to 255. And we know that the gender of the age of the person, will generally not exceed 255 years. So we can use tiny int for that. Now, we could have used int as well. There is nothing wrong in using int. We could have used int as well for storing the age of the students. But again, then the storage space required in case of int will be more. If I will open the Microsoft documentation and will show it to you. So you can see that tiny int will require a storage space of 1 byte, while if we'll talk about int, so this is going to require around 4 bytes. So since it will require 4 bytes, and if our work can be done using tiny int, so why should we go for int, right? So depending upon the requirement, we will go for tiny int. Now, let's say the requirement changes, and now we are not interested in storing the age of the students, but we want to create a column where we want to store the age of might be some buildings or might be trees. So trees or buildings, they can be more than 255 years old, right? The age can be more than 255 years. So since the age can be more than 255 years, so we can go for other data types as well, right? So we can either go for small int or might be int. And if small int can fulfill a purpose, so we will certainly go for that, right? So in that case, we can write small int. So depending upon the requirement, we can go for different data types, right? Because they have different range. And apart from different range, they have different storage requirements as well. So as I already said, that we have to create the columns in such a way so that our requirement is also fulfilled. And at the same time, the storage required also has to be minimal. So you should be aware of the minimum and maximum value that a column in your table can have. And based on that, you can decide that what is the data type that you should keep, right? And now if we will take an example to understand about the decimal data type. So let's write decimal P, S. So here P represents the total character length. Sorry, P, S. P represents total digits, might be we can say. And your S represents the number of the digits that you can have after the decimal point. Number of digits. Sorry. You may have after decimal. So let's say there's a requirement that there's a marathon. Students have participated in the marathon, and they have covered certain distance, and we need to create a column in which we will be storing the length. And for storing the length, we know that the maximum value that they could have covered will not exceed 999.99. So you have to create a decimal column so that we can store this value in it, right? So we can use the data type decimal 5,2, right? Because the maximum value that can occur after the decimal point will be equal to 2. And obviously the total number of the digits that we can have in our data set will not exceed 5 certainly, right? So since it's not going to exceed 5, and number of the decimal places will also not exceed 2, so this should fulfill our requirement. So we can choose a data type in that way, right? Now let's say there's a column in which you have to store date. So you can use date data type for that. So for date, you can use date data type. For time, you can use time data type. And if you want to store the values of date time in a column, so you may go for date time as well, right? So depending upon the requirements, these are some of the data types that we have discussed, and I will also be providing the link to that Microsoft documentation in the resource section, so you can refer to that link, and then you can go through the other possible data types that you can choose as per the requirement as well. So we have discussed about these data types. We will be using them in the next video when we will be creating the table, and we'll discuss about inserting records and all that stuff. So I hope this video was helpful. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.